Welcome to the Rural Revival Podcast. I'm your host, Dana Larson. Today we're with Jordan Classen of Classen Land and Cattle and Classen Mercantile out of Albion, Nebraska. And we're talking all about what it takes to start and grow a beef business from the ground up. Jordan and her husband Travis are building their dream together and bringing a vision to life for their farm and business, which started with 3 head of cattle and now has their beef finding its way to tables around the country and into their local schools. And in those local schools, Jordan has worked to incorporate an entirely local beef program. She also talks about how she's betting on herself, the importance of farmers markets and why we need to support them, and how she's using this business to impact consumers. And here's something fun. We actually got to help build the Classen Mercantile website when Jordan attended one of our brand camp events a few years back. If you're in need of a website or other branding, we want to help. Branded by Rural Revival is our rural design studio where we are helping small business owners and small towns with websites, design, marketing assets, brand kits, and more. Our number one goal is to help provide the tools you need to succeed as a small business owner or a small town, and help you build a brand that you love. If you want to learn more or to check out some of our latest work, go to brandedbyruralrevival.co or find the link in the show notes. And now, here we go with Jordan Classen. All right, well, we're here with Jordan Classen of Classen Land and Cattle in Albion, Nebraska. Jordan, thanks so much for being on the podcast.
Of course. Thank you for coming all the way here to say hi to us.
Yes, this has been a long time in the making.
I know. I'm excited.
Me too. You have so many exciting things to share. So tell me about you. You actually weren't raised as a country girl.
Right. So my dad is in the military, and that provided me a lot of experience to go just kind of see the country and learn all about agriculture in different parts of the lower 48 United States. And it taught me a lot about how important agriculture is to all of our communities in general, and then as well as just really invigorating inside of me that I wanted to carry on our family's agriculture tradition. So it kind of skipped a generation with my dad joining the military, but we do have really strong agricultural ties here in Nebraska as well as South Dakota.
I love that. So part of what changed that for you was meeting your husband, Travis, right?
Yes. So my husband, Travis, is from Humphrey, Nebraska. So he's about, that hometown is about 30 minutes from Columbus and 30 minutes from Norfolk, which are 2 big towns in our state. Otherwise, if you're familiar with I-80, it's about an hour and 20 minutes or so from Grand Island. So that's where he's from. His family, he's I believe 5th generation farmer. And so his grandpa was a farmer, his dad's a farmer, he's a farmer. But they do things a little bit differently than how Travis wanted to do it. So he really got into the cow-calf side of the operation and really found his passion there. His family does not do cow-calf. So in college, he had the opportunity to work on a cow-calf operation and just loved it. So that's kind of how he wound up determining that was kind of our starting point. And then once we really got our vision together, we decided that we wanted to do cow-calf all the way to finish for direct-to-consumer. And so we kind of married our 2 visions together. Just to backtrack a little bit, I did help on a produce farm in North Carolina in high school, and that just really solidified in me my passion for agriculture and also just the face-to-face answering consumers' questions. And so once Travis and I were together and decided what we wanted to do, I was like, well, I want to do the direct-to-consumer side, and he really wanted to focus on cow-calf. So the importance of cow-calf in our finishing business is that we do have the ability to make decisions for genetics, which helps us determine how high of a quality we can finish our cattle out to.
Perfect. So when you say once we got our vision, how long was that process of figuring that out?
Well, we dated for about 2 years, and we were married for about 2 years before we really kind of, I don't know, like we were playing around with the idea, of just what did we want our farm to look like. Travis has always day worked, so that means that he goes and helps another farmer during the day. And then we kind of moonlight farm. So we take care of all of our cattle and do all of our farm chores and farming post our full-time jobs. So it took a long time for us to kind of narrow down, like, what do we want this to look like for our family? What are our goals? And what does that look like for our business? And part of it was just getting started, which is the hardest step.
Yes.
And that's how I met you.
Yes.
So just in our just getting started phase, we were like, okay, we're going to sell beef. Well, what does that look like? And then really breaking that out. And then once we broke that out to, we were going to be cow calf all the way to finish, basically Travis and I switch responsibilities at the yearling age. So once the cows reach a year old, we kind of start breaking up our business model. So Travis handles the cow calf to yearling stage all by himself. I don't really make any decisions in that regard. And then once they hit yearling stage, we kind of start making decisions together. And then we also work very closely with our nutritionist, who helps us determine what does that finishing ration look like. I work on lining up all the processing dates and working with the processors and just getting all of those pieces lined up. And so then it's kind of a group effort from the yearling to finish stage. And then I handle everything after finish. So the direct to consumer side.
A true team effort.
Yes, that's for sure.
Yes. So when we first met, which was at a brand camp event that I was putting on with my friend Brooke, you were in the beginning stages of this. And I think everything that you're doing now, that was all stuff you were talking about.
Yes.
Like, I want to do this. This is my goal, all this stuff. And so it's been really cool to be like along for the ride with you and get to see all of that happen.
Yeah.
But tell our listeners kind of what that process was, where you started.
Yeah.
And grew it from there.
Yeah. So we started with 3 head back in 2016. Travis and I finished out 3 head of cattle. Mostly during that time, it was just for our family. So we finished those 3 cattle out and we were like, okay, aches and pains and growing. Just figuring out even how to fill out a cut sheet. Like we mentioned earlier, I'm not from a farm. So that was my first time ever even like seeing a cut sheet and trying to just decipher what do I even want. So then we made it through that. And then every year we've just kind of tackled one part of our process and figured out, okay, what can we do better? What can we, where can we improve? And I should mention also, Travis and I met in college and we both have systems degrees. So at college, at other schools, it's called agricultural systems, but UNL just wanted to make it complicated and they call it mechanized systems management. So systems is kind of our thing. So once we had those 3 cattle processed, we wanted to continue to grow, but slowly over time. And so we started figuring out, okay, how many head can our processors handle at a time? Do we need to divide it out? And this year we're at a point where we do need to start, dividing things out. And so we will be using a bigger processor like normal. And then we also still use a small locker that can handle kind of like our one-off thing. So if I have a customer who says, I want to fill out my cut sheet myself, then I take them to that locker and they can go ahead and fill that out themselves. So it's just kind of nice to be able to tailor our business, big and small. But the in-between phase was just a lot of groundwork. Like we say, we have so much sweat equity in this business right now. We've actually never got a paycheck from our business yet, but that's just because we really believe in reinvesting in it, because we know we can see. Now, I was just telling you recently, but I was like, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Like, it's so close. We have all of our infrastructure. We just put in a walk-in freezer on our property. And so I believe that if you just really reinvest in your business for even just like 4 years, I saw something recently that said most people will take working for someone for 40 years before they take a chance on themselves for 4 years. And I think that's something I'm going to live my life by for the next year. I just really believe in that you can make a large change in your life in just such a short period of time.
Yeah, you are definitely living proof of that.
Yeah.
It's so cool. So when you first started selling beef, you had your family, like you kind of raised the first cattle for your family, but then how did you get it out into the public?
Okay, so when we first started selling beef, and we started with those 3 head of cattle, Travis and I actually bought the first head that we sold.
Nice.
So it was just taking a chance on ourselves. And then the other 2 head, we sold some to family, and then we sold some just kind of locally as well. And it just took time to even figure out how to answer consumers' questions. I'm not being from like an animal, background or things like that. It took me a long time to learn how to answer people's questions. And now that I do farmers markets, I have to learn how to answer those questions really quickly and effectively. So I'm really thankful for our story and like how we started. And so one thing that we mostly learned was just you have to take that chance on yourself. You have to put yourself out there, and you have to be willing to put yourself in front of consumers. So this beef store that we're sitting in right now here in Albion, it is the place where I am betting on myself currently. I want this space to be kind of like a local food hub. And I finally determined what I wanted to do with it. But you know what? Sometimes I sit here and nobody shows up. And and that's okay.
Yeah.
And honestly, I feel like so many times in life, and especially me too, like I want things to be perfect and have that little bow on top and things. And sometimes other people are busy and they can't make time to come stop at your storefront, or it's not a good time. But then there's other days where quite a few people walk through the doors, and I love inviting other producers in here too and just having them set up. But being in the direct-to-consumer side is not an easy business. And when I got into it, I thought, Instagram and all that makes it look so simple.
Yeah.
And I just thought to myself, oh, this will be easy. Like when you sell strawberries to someone, that's, it's easy in some ways because strawberries make everyone happy. When you start selling beef, you're under a lot more scrutiny. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So you chose to do aged beef. Mm-hmm. What made you decide on that?
Yeah, so our farm, we're primarily Black Angus. We have a little bit of a Hereford cross just to get some baldies. Hattie, my daughter, and I, we just love to see little baldies out, calves running around. So if it was all up to my husband, we would only have all Black Angus, which is mostly what we sell. But so our herd is Black Angus, and then we work with our processor to age our beef. And so that just means that some of the process is wet aging is kind of what we're starting to get more into. It's a little bit more controlled than dry aging, and also leaves your beef a little bit more moist. But aging overall just leads to a lot more better, in my opinion, flavor profile, as well as the tenderness and texture of that beef. I hate to say it, but when I go out to like the big chains now, a steak is not what I want to order just because I get so spoiled with it at home. Uh-huh. So it's pretty interesting once you kind of get into the science of aging. It just basically makes your beef more flavorful, and it is the way, like basically the way it happens is the natural enzymes present in the muscle fibers break down and some of the tougher connective tissues, and then that will result in your more tender eating experience. And then we've noticed just such a big difference in our beef once we age it in terms of moisture retention, texture, consistency, and flavor all being enhanced, which gives everyone a better eating experience. And so we just feel like aging our beef is what makes us stand out.
Yeah, I love it. So you have had a lot of success going to farmers markets and selling that way.
Yeah.
Did it take you a bit to figure out which ones were the right fit?
Yeah. So farmers markets for me is something I really enjoy doing. It's not for the faint of heart. I'm definitely not going to sit here and say, oh, it's easy to just show up to a farmer's market. That's not the case. There is a lot of prep work involved. And then also I think the thing I love the most about farmers market is just the face-to-face part with the consumers. I feel like in no other area of my business can I get that much face-to-face interaction with them, where I genuinely can answer whatever questions they have, tell them more about our farm, and make them more confident in their buying decisions. So that's why I go to the farmers market. The farmers market's not for everyone, but I really get such a high when I leave those markets, because I know I'm impacting the consumers that I'm coming in contact with.
Yeah, and you've chosen to do farmers markets in the Omaha area.
Yeah.
And so I think you're providing something that people don't have direct access to there in the city.
Yes. So I'm super excited. We kind of narrowed down our markets to the Bellevue market on Saturdays in Omaha, and then we're at the Sunday market in Lincoln. So one really exciting thing about the Sunday market in Lincoln is that they do already accept SNAP as well, and that's just an area of passion of mine now. And so at the Saturday market, we just recently got approved for becoming a SNAP retailer as well. So I'll be able to start accepting SNAP at the farmers market, which is exciting, and not really an area of our business that we, have explored a lot. This is something new, but most of our farmers market sales are to people who are just interested in where their food is coming from. And we're just really excited that we can continue to meet that demand and then grow our audience a little bit more to maybe people who wouldn't otherwise have access to really great off the farm beef.
Yeah.
And one of the most exciting things about farmers markets is just seeing the community in Nebraska show up and support small scale farmers. So farmers markets are something that is always going to be so important to all of our communities. So if you're in a small town and it has a farmers market, yes, you can go buy your groceries from a grocery store and you have the convenience of picking out the most perfect apple off the table, or you can go to a farmer's market and, someone might not have the flawless apple ready for you. But the best thing about it is that you're supporting small scale farmers. And I think that's something that is starting to be more discussed in our country, but really something that we need to shine a light on is that the people who are standing at a farmer's market often are not generational family farmers. And if they are, great, but most of the people that are at a farmer's market are those small scale people. And so by keeping those dollars local, and I always say you're voting with your dollars. So if you stop at a market booth and you buy one thing, you took your money and voted with that farmer, and that telling them that you believe in their business and that you're willing to stand here and support it. And that's really what America was based off of. And I do have a little bit of like a patriotic belief system to that, but I just really think that it's so important that we continue to use our dollars small and locally, because we're also shortening the food supply chain, and we could get into the logistics of all of that, but how important it is to continue to have farmers markets in our communities. And the only way we can continue to have them is by gaining support of our consumers.
Yeah. And you're also providing opportunities for local people to buy, and you do door deliveries too.
Yes. So my door deliveries is just kind of like our convenience option. It helps me in different ways, but one of the ways that it helps me is that sometimes when we go to a farmer's market, you cannot pack I can't pack my entire walk-in freezer into my Traverse. My husband would argue that I've tried, but I can only fit so many things in my car, and so sometimes I need to supplement that with a door delivery. So if I run out of an item, I can say, hey, I can bring it to you next week. So when our customers purchase through our website, they can choose door delivery as an option. Otherwise, I always give it as an option to our farmers market clients if they are wanting to stock up their freezer. That's my best way to plan ahead and make sure that I can drop their beef off at the door and still have all of my market items packed up in my car.
And then at the beef store, you have set hours where people can stop by.
Yeah. Yep. So right now, because it's farmers market season, so we're in the summertime, my hours are on Monday from roughly 4 to 7. Sometimes it's 4 to 6, depending on the heat. I have to get home and do chores. But so our beef store is during the market season, we're open on Mondays, and then in the off market season, so kind of once September hits, then it's the first Saturday of the month. And we haven't set our hours for the season. I think I'm going to end up doing like 10 to 2 or something like that. We used to do 8 to noon, but I just found out 8 a.m. is too early for for some people. But the exciting thing about this store is that I do invite other vendors in, and it's kind of an open door for our community. If you're out willing to sell something that is kind of like commodity based, you know, it has to either be food or flowers or something like that, then you can come in here and sell those goods as well during that time, and it's open. I don't charge any table fees or anything like that, because I just really want it to be a place that our community feels welcome and knows that they can come get good quality goods. So that's kind of the mercantile piece of it. If you look at our name online, it'll say Classen Mercantile, and Classen Land and Cattle is our official LLC name, but the mercantile part is really something in the next couple of years that I'm going to focus a lot of attention on. I would like to have a farm stand outside of the store eventually, so we'll see. Stay tuned to find out, right?
Yeah, and you have a great location for it too.
Yeah. So currently on our farm, we started selling farm fresh eggs. So that's my daughter's side of the business. She loves when I get to tell her that she sold out of eggs. So Hattie's egg business. And then we sell our frozen beef. And then a lot of times we have a vegetable vendor pop up in here, and then as well as a pork vendor. And then sometimes we have a Wagyu vendor as well.
One thing that you do that I love is that you are also taking your beef and providing it to schools to use for their school lunches.
Yes.
Which is just an awesome idea.
Yeah.
All around.
Yeah. I am super passionate, mostly because I'm a mom, that I want to get good quality beef, especially into the hands of our students. Recently, I started working at a school about 2 years ago now, but before I started working there, I was already working on my farm to school program. And the thing that I've noticed working at the school is you can impact a lot of young eaters very quickly through the school lunch programs. And that, you know, can go both ways. If you have a low quality school lunch program, then it can change the opinions of a lot of young eaters. And if you have a good high quality program, it's really going to get them excited. And that's where we want to start seeing impacts, because by the time people get to a farmer's market, you know, most of their food buying decisions they've already established by the time they get there. So through our students, we can just see the quality and the impact that it has. So one thing that I really focus on selling to the schools is our ground beef and our ground beef patties. Mostly the patties, because not a lot of people have really had an off the farm fresh beef patty. You can go buy them at Costco in the frozen section, you know, it's all great and dandy, but not quite the same as a fresh burger. And so I just really want to see more schools really enacting local beef programs. So this year, I'm really excited to bring to Albion an entirely local beef program. So all the beef served in our school this year is going to be local beef. I'm working with some great community stakeholders on that project, and I'm just really excited to see the amount of kids that are going to get impacted by this, and then how it impacts our school as well.
And you're offering this to other schools too around Nebraska. So if you're listening and that sounds like a good fit for you, you need to contact Jordan.
Yes. Yeah. So one thing that I'm super excited about is some of the grant funding for the state has extended west this year. So the grant funding on the eastern half of the state was focused last year, and this year it's extended across the state. So any local school should check into the funding for that, and I'll have to have Dana post it in the notes what the name of it is.
Yes, I will do that. Yes.
But then also it goes, all of the 50 states have local programs for schools for local foods. So local foods for local schools is what the program is called. And with all of the states participating in that, you can find that anywhere. And I love to do consultations too, to kind of help schools get ideas, figure out what they want to do. And, if we're going to have a conversation about beef, great. Like, let's chat beef. But also, if you want to just get some ideas for produce and things like that, I went and spoke at a Healthy Meals Incentive conference recently, just about the importance of local meats and how important it is to get those on the plates of our students.
So good. So you get to educate them in the process too.
Yes.
And I know that sustainability and ethical practices are really important to you.
Yes. Yeah. So Travis and I, back to when we were discussing our vision for our farm, we really wanted to instill a process where our cattle are in our care and our responsibility all the way through the entire process. So from the time our cow-calf pairs hit the ground, once they are born, all the way through to the time that our beef gets processed at the locker, we make every decision surrounding that. I try not to use like a lot of current trend words, but in some ways that would be called traceability, right? So we are 100% traceable, and then we're also more traditional on our farm. So we do raise the corn that we finish our cattle on, and then we also make all of the decisions of the in-between stages, which every day those decisions look different. But the most important part to us is that this is a closed loop system. And that means that it's a sustainable farming approach that aims to minimize waste and maximize resource efficiency, which, going back to Travis and I's systems degrees, that's kind of where that comes from. And by closing this nutrient cycle within our farming system, we're able to operate in this model under our cow-calf to finish business. And we focus on areas of resource efficiency, waste reduction, soil health, water conservation, and biodiversity in our forages, which ultimately leads to being able to focus on improved living conditions, healthier diets, reduced stress, and enhanced behavioral freedom for all aspects in respect for our animal needs, which basically just means that by following this model, we are as close to all natural as you can be, and it allows our cattle the experience and freedom to roam as they would naturally, and also for us to be able to finish our products and come out with a high quality yield and just premium grade. So by using these approaches, we're able to better have human-animal interactions, and then we can have better observations of our animal health and get on top of any issues that we might be having. And doing this allows us to just bring the best product to market that we can and be confident in it.
Yeah, so good. So I know there's a lot coming up for you, but What do you want to share? What's coming up?
So we are just going to continue to focus on our beef store so that in the off season we have just a really great place for consumers to continue to come. We are focusing on somehow doing an on-farm event. We really want to have people to our farm to experience just what that looks like. And with our rural location, it's a little bit easier said than done, some would say. But that's something in the next 2 years, that's our goal, is to have at least one on-farm event, if not two. And then we're going to continue to be out at the farmers markets. I just feel that, as our family continues to grow, it might look different from year to year. I think next year it might look like Travis taking one market and me taking the other market, but we'll get it figured out. But we're just super excited to continue to answer consumers' questions and be there for them to have someone that they can trust and rely on, and just continue to be a high-quality beef producer. Our daughter is so excited about this business, and the more excited that she gets, the more it motivates me to make sure that we continue to make long-term decisions for our business.
So good. So where can people follow along?
Yes, you can follow along ClassenMercantile.com. If you want to check it out, you can shop there too. Otherwise, we are on Facebook and Instagram. Classen Mercantile is, if you just search it, will pop up.
Perfect. Okay,
Yeah.
we will link to all that in the show notes.
Yes.
Jordan, thanks for being on the podcast.
Yes, guys, this was my first time, so hopefully it was good.
Oh my goodness, you did amazing.
So, no, it was great, and I love our conversation, so thank you.
You bet. Well, I love Jordan's heart for agriculture and all the ways they have grown and built this business and all the exciting things that are coming. I can't wait to see where they take it next. And as we start to think about the holidays, which will be here before we know it, Classen Mercantile is now taking prime rib orders and will be shipping out as soon as they get their restock in sometime around November 15th. They'll also be offering jerky and beef sticks for this Christmas season. And if you're local to the Albion area, you can stop by their beef store. They're open on the first Saturday of the month from 10 to 2, or you can also reach out via their website and schedule an appointment. Find all of that information and more at the links in our show notes. Huge thanks to Jordan for being on the podcast, and thanks to you for tuning in. Have a great day, everybody.